Good evening. My name is Brenda Lopez. I'm the Housing Programs Manager for the Oxnard Housing Authority. This item is regarding the 5-year agency plan and the annual PHA plan. I would first like to start by giving you a brief background on both plans. The 5-year plan and the annual agency plan provide a description of the Housing Authority's basic regulations, requirements, and operational program policies. These plans are required to be submitted by federal regulations, specifically 24 CFR Part 903. The plans also serve as an application for capital fund grants, which provide the funding for capital improvements for public housing units, which are under the public housing program. These plans are due to the Department of Housing and Urban Development by April 16th of 2022, which is 75 days prior to the start of the fiscal year. A public hearing on the proposed changes to the public housing and Section 8 program policies, any proposed goals and objectives for the 2022 fiscal year and the next 5 years is required. Written public comment and review was opened or commenced on November 22nd, 2022, and it closed on January 6th, 2022. In addition, the Oxnard Housing Authority staff held meetings for the Resident Advisory Board, which is made up of public housing residents and Section 8 program participants who help the Housing Authority by providing the recommendations, feedback, and suggestions. Again, these plans were proposed for review and discussion during the meetings. The primary significant change that is being proposed is to the Section 8, or also Housing Choice Voucher Program, specifically the administrative plan. The Oxnard Housing Authority is proposing to adopt a local limited farm worker preference. This farm worker preference will be applied to applicants on the wait list. Specifically, applicants in which the head of household, spouse, or co-head are currently employed as farm workers in the Oxnard Housing Authority's jurisdiction will be eligible for the preference. The Oxnard Housing Authority will limit the number of families that qualify for this preference to 15 families annually. Once the Oxnard Housing Authority is serving those 15 families under a given year, and one family leaves the program, then the next family on the wait list who meets the preference criteria will be served. Again, this preference is for the wait list for the Section 8 program. No significant changes were proposed to the Public Housing Authority's admissions and continued occupancy policy plan. That is the plan that governs the public housing program. Even though no written comments were received from the public, a revision or change was made to the proposed farm worker preference by removing a requirement of working a certain minimum number of hours in order to receive the preference. This change was made in part by the feedback received from the Resident Advisory Board. As mentioned earlier, both plans also serve as an application for capital fund grant monies. These monies provide the funding needed in order to do capital improvements to units. The fiscal year 2022 grant amount being requested is $1,445,380. The proposed resolution would approve the Capital Fund Program 5-year action plan, the 2022 annual agency plan, and also the 5-year PHA plan and the 2022 capital fund budget. The recommendation is that the Housing and Economic Development Committee recommend that the Housing Authority of the City of Oxnard, number 1, hold a public hearing to receive comments concerning the 3rd year of the 5-year PHA plan, the 2022 capital fund budget plan, and the 5-year capital fund program action plan. In addition, to adopt a resolution that would approve the 2022 annual agency plan, the 5-year PHA plan, authorizing and directing the chairman to execute all required documents by the Department of Housing and Urban Development, authorizing the housing director to execute and submit all reports, documents, and all other certifications that are required to comply with the Department of Housing and Urban Development policies and procedures in regards to these plans, approving the fiscal year 2022 capital fund program budget and the capital fund program budget for the 5-year action plan, and lastly, authorizing the housing director to accept and expend the funds as is outlined and indicated in the proposed 2022 capital fund budget and the capital fund program 5-year action plan. This concludes my presentation. Our housing director, Emilio Ramirez, will be available to answer any additional questions. Thank you for your time.